Vanakkam, Namaste, Swagatam. In this video, we are going to see about the inner call, the spiritual call. This may sound unique, but in India, this matters. Let us see why. The first thing we are going to discuss is about the uniqueness of inner call, why it is needed or why it is unique. The second dimension is our stand. Individually, what do you think about few things? Then the action plan. Let's get into the first one. In uniqueness, we are going to see that the spirituality or the inner call is like a firewall to many of us. This is not only for people, those who are religious or spiritually rooted or from some religion or some caste, but this is about every individual in general. In one or the other way, this is a safeguarding antivirus for people. You can call it as a spirituality or you can call it as your own individual principle or philosophy, but at the end of the day, it's your individual thing. So that's why I don't even want to put it as a spiritual sector. It is some inner call, so anybody will fall under this thing. Second, this entire course is intentionally kept Indians in mind and designed, and in India this plays very, very vital role. When you think about Americans, you have a certain contribution of Americans to the world. When you think about China, when you think about Japan, when you think about Africa, every country, every civilization got something to contribute. And when you think about India, the whole world in one voice says it is about the Indian lifestyle, the Indian approach of life, the Indian philosophy. This is completely unique. And that is why India plays a vital role when we think about this sector. Now, there are people, those who are very religious. And religious, I mean, in a literal sense, they go to temple or they go to mosque or whatever it is, and they go to a system and they follow whatever the religion says to them. And these people are called as religious people, and those who fall under the religion category. I want you to analyze about yourself also side by side. The second category is the category those who call themselves not as a religious people, but they think or they talk about themselves as a spiritual person. The spiritual person is also a religious person at the end of the day, but they don't get stuck with the rituals and the systems and customs. That's what they think. And it is right too, because the spiritual person is more flexible than a religious person. I'm not here to tell what is right and what is wrong, but I want to just categorize people into different so that you can understand where do you fall. As I already told, this program is not to tell what is good and what is bad. I'm not here to tell you are doing right thing or wrong thing. No, I am just going to put forth all the dimensions of a family system and what are all the different components, the different walks of life involves in a family system, and what are all the possibilities a person can end up in shit or to have a beautiful life. So the decision is always yours. So the first category is a religious person, those who are very strictly following the systems and customs and rules and the place of worship, etc. And there is another category, those who are called as a spiritual people, where they don't focus on the details, but they focus on the thinking part. Their approach is more holistic, and they don't confine themselves to any particular action or set. The third one, they call themselves as no faith. I am not under anything, my father is, my mother is, but I know. But even they do have something called as an inner call. Their call can be called as a meditation. There are a good number of people in and around India where they do meditation. Even for that matter, there are so many names. I don't want to call on names. There are so many big list of entrepreneurs and successful billionaires, those who regularly do meditation, and they don't call meditation as a spiritual or a religious thing. They call meditation as a inner call, their personal philosophy. So this is what I want to keep meditation as here. Though under spirituality and religion, there are so many types and levels of meditations are involved. In this sector, when I say meditation, it is towards more of self-talking and self-focusing and self-alignment, etc. And The another category is nature. There are people those who don't fall under religious or spiritual or meditation stuff, but they love nature and they want to give back to nature and they want to save nature and they want to contribute to nature and they love nature and being in nature. So this is also a kind of a category which comes under this inner call. Now, what stand are you having on few things really matters, because many a times people get into fight or argument or disappointments, or even they feel very bad for their partner's stand on these areas. The first thing comes is, what do you think God is, or what is the God definition of you? So this is what we need to understand. So I want you to think about all these things and contemplate, what is God according to you? So if you are a staunch believer of one God, then you will have a clear it. For me, Krishna is everything. For me, Krishna is the God, and all other gods are there, not there. There is no discussion for me. But for me, Krishna is God. I'm a staunch believer of Shiva. So I do every 13th day of a lunar circle. I do Upas, Ekadashi, and Shiva is very close to me. Or Ayyappa, any god you take. And this is about you and your God relationship, right? So this clarity you need to understand. The second thing is about the systems, the religious, temples, church going stuff, religious actions and activities, rituals and customs. So, what is your stand on all these things? There are people, those who have faith in God but don't do any of these things. There are people, those who do all these things and still have a doubt in the very God. There are different types of people around, right? So what do you think about religious uh, practices? So this is the second dimension which you need to understand or contemplate on. And the third thing is more relevant than the first two. How do you take fate? Do you think there is someone who did all the culprit, or do you think it's all luck and fate and there is no design, or do you think karma exists and one or the other time in your own life you did something and that's why you are getting it now? So what is your stand on fate? What is your stand on luck? Unfortunately, few of my closed ones had very bad experiences. They lost a few loved ones, and how they handled the situation, how they, both husband and wives, understood the fate happened to them, was so amazing for me. Since they both had same principle on fate and the same approach towards life, they really coped up well, and they were easily came out of that disastrous moment. They lost their child and they really came out of it, and they're leading an amazing life. Fate plays a very very vital role. And what do you think of fate, and how do you face fate? How do you face fate? So this dimension also you need to think, and you need to have a clarity. And once you have, obviously, you need to share to your partner, and only then you will understand what are all the differences you both have in this segment. And you need to understand one thing: whatever belief system you have today about your life or your philosophy may evolve in the future, how it evolved from past. So this is a basic rule we need to keep in mind, because the very thought of I may also change my stand will itself make yourself open and adjustable. The second one is, you need to understand it is subjective journey. You can't say that what your stand is the final stand. You can't say that what do I think is the thing. No, it can't be, because every individual is unique. Therefore your partner's opinion is for the partners, and not, you can't force your partner to have your stand. So if your partner has a difference of opinion, you need to value it, you need to respect her stand, and you don't need to join her, or him, or she doesn't need to, or he doesn't need to accept you fully. Let them accept or not accept, but you need to value your partner's stand. That is why you need to understand the inner call is a subjective journey, and understand it's an evolving thing. So the day one is not always the same thing after few days or few months or few years. Things change. So you need to just focus on you, and you need to respect the other. So this is what is the spiritual segment of a self. Let's see what next. Thank you.